All right, so the first problem, we're going to kind of walk through all of the steps to enter in the calculator. So for this one problem, it is going to be separated into a couple of videos in case you just need to review how to enter or how to see a graph. So for all of these kind of next set of videos, if we're looking at this, our table that they give us is about the life expectancy for the people in the US. So when we look at this, the top line should be our x values, and then our bottom line is going to be the y values. And we're going to use our calculator to answer all three of these questions. So to start with, we need to enter in information on our calculator. So let's grab our calculator. Make sure it's turned on. So when I look at this blank screen, this is called our home screen. So whenever I say the word home screen, I'm talking about this one right here. So where it's blank. Now to enter in the information, we're going to press the stat key, and then we're going to edit. So if we're entering in information, we're always going to be editing. So enter. Now if you already have information here that's not the information that we want, we need to get rid of it. So to do that, we're going to arrow up, and we're going to press the clear button, and then enter to get rid of it. And then we arrow over up again so that L1 is highlighted, clear, enter. So that just gets rid of the information that's there that we don't want. Okay. So now we do want to enter in our information. So for all of the problems, our L1 list has to be the x values, and the L2 list will be the y values. And we're going to get that information from our chart. So I'm just going to enter in each of these numbers. So I'm just using my number pad on my calculator. So I'm going to type my number in, so whatever that is, and then I'm going to press enter, and then I'm going to type in the next number. Okay, so first one is 1980, so 1980, enter. 1983, enter. 1990, enter. 1995, enter. 2000, enter. 2006, enter. And then we're going to do that same process for the y values. So we're going to arrow over, and then we're going to type each number and then press enter. So 73.7, enter. 74.6, enter. 75.4, enter. 75.8, enter. 76.8, enter. 77.7, enter. All right, so we have entered in our data. Now, depending on what we're trying to do will determine our next step. So if we want to just see what our points look like on a graph, to do that, we have to make sure that our stat plot is highlighted. So there's two ways that we can check that. So the first way, if we just press the y equals button, we need to see that plot 1 is highlighted. So if yours is not highlighted, then you need to arrow up and press enter, and that will select it. And then when you arrow down, that should still be highlighted. So if that is highlighted, then to see our dots, we need to first adjust our window. So your calculator always goes back to your previous window, and sometimes it's best to start in a standard window. So if we press our zoom button and select 6 for standard, enter, that'll bring you to a -10 to +10 window for both your x and y. Now we can't see anything on our graph, and that should make sense to us because if we look at our information, our x's are at 1,980 all the way up to 2006. So we need to adjust our window to account for that. So this is where it becomes very important that we understand domain and range so that we can adjust our window on our calculator more effectively. So to change our window, we're going to press the window key. And then for the x minimum, since we want to see our points, we need to choose an x value that's smaller than the smallest x that they give us. So that's going to be this 1990. So an x value that's smaller, we can say, let's choose 1970 or 1975. So any of those would work. And then we're going to press enter. Now for the maximum, we need to choose a number that's bigger than our biggest x value. And really for this one, since we're going to be making a prediction, we actually want to look ahead. So if I'm looking, we're going to be predicting out to 2025. So I actually want to pick an x value that's bigger than this number. So let's try 2030. And you don't want to go too big. Like, we don't want to go 100 over that number because we're trying to see our points and we're trying to see them pretty accurately. And then this next one, that is talking about our scale. So what do we want each of our tick marks in our graph to represent? So the farther apart your numbers are, the bigger you want the scale. So for this one, I think I'm going to choose 10. And then we go through that same process with the y's. So for our y minimum, we need a number smaller than our smallest y value. So that's going to be the 73.7. So I'm going to choose 70 for my point. And then we need something bigger than our biggest one. And remember, we're going out to this 2025, so we actually want to choose a number fairly bigger. So I think I'm going to choose, let's try 90 to start with. And then again, for my scale, I think I'm going to do 5 on this one. So now if we press graph, we should be able to see our points. Yep. So if we're looking, so here's our dotted scale here. So these each represent 10. So this is our y-axis. Or excuse me, these are going to represent 5s. And then these each represent 10s because this is our x-axis. So even looking at our picture, we should be able to see that there's a pretty strong positive correlation because these numbers are going up and it's really close to making a straight line.